Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Stark Struck, a podcast where we explore things that get us interested in the blockchain space and in Validity Rollup specifically. I'm Enray, your host, and today I'm joined by Giwook. Hello, Giwook.
Hello, everyone. I'm Giwook from Door.
Yeah, thank you for being with us, Giwook. So, Giwook, you work at Door Labs. Can you tell us in a few words what is Door Labs and what do you do there?
For sure. Door Labs, we make some ticket platform on top of. We are trying to make it on top of the StarkNet, and currently we have a strong partnership with the one of the largest offline entertainment company in South Korea. So we are trying to make a ticket platform on top of the StarkNet, but like also Web2 users can use.
That sounds like a great mix, both a mix of digital world and real world and Web3 and Web2. That's great. I love this kind of projects. All right, so let's start with the usual way we do these podcasts. Giwook, let's hear a little bit about yourself. What's your background? So you're from South Korea, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in South Korea, and I majored computer science in Seoul here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I worked at another company before the Door Labs for like three years.
What kind of computer science did you do?
Before Web3, I made graph database, and I also do some edge computing thing.
Oh, I've heard the name edge computing before. What is it exactly?
It is computing in the edge. So yeah, so I was before Web3. I made some manufacturing execution system, and I need to make it like quite to automate the factories. So I need to connect with the machines. So I put the Raspberry Pi on each machines, and I made it to control the machine. So yeah.
Interesting. So you worked on automation for industry and you automated machines with Raspberry Pi. I had the notion that Raspberry Pi are great to tinker and they're great to like prototype stuff, but can you actually really use them in production? Are they reliable?
Of course, it has quite many problems, but if you want to use it in small factories, such as like less than 10 or 20 machines, then you can use it. Yeah.
Makes sense. And then you get more flexibility.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so you worked for this, like on this for a while. Is this what edge computing is, or is it something else?
I think this is it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so computing on the edge. So,
Yeah.
it's a nice image actually. You have a setup, and you don't have everything centralized in one server that delegates thing. You
Yeah.
get many small brains collaborating.
Exactly.
There's something really cool. Like there's this future for ZK rollups, for validity rollups, where you have the same kind of structure. And it's, when you think about it, it's not really possible in the blockchain world, because in the blockchain world, everything happens within the same computing environment. It happens in a lot of places. It happens with every node in the network, but it all happens on the same state and in the same client.
Right.
Because everybody has to redo everything. But with validity proof, you can actually start to have edge computing, meaning you can have a company like Door Labs operating their backend in a provable manner and then verifying the proof on chain. And so, like, I don't know, this idea is really alluring to me. I don't know when we'll see it materialize, but this is really exciting to me.
Yeah, sure.
So after working on this, you moved to Web3 directly?
Yeah. Honestly, the BC, one of the co-founders on Dual Labs, is my high school friend. So
Hmm.
yeah, he told me that um, we, I mean, Dual Labs and the other companies made some thing in New York, and it's called Starknet House.
Hmm.
And yeah, and if you want, I can recommend you to go there and learn about Starknet. And yeah, that's how begin my Web3 career.
Had you heard about cryptocurrencies before that?
Yeah, for sure. Before that, honestly, I heard about crypto in like 2016 or 14. It
Hmm.
was like a Bitcoin boom.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, I heard about crypto from Bitcoin.
Did that
And
get you interested from the get-go, or did you have to dive back later on?
uh, yeah, in 2015, 2014, I was in the military because every South Korean guys need to serve 2 years in the military. So um, I was in the military, and after like from 2016, I have some time, so I took take a look about the crypto. And um, if there were only Bitcoin and no Ethereum at that time, then my interest in blockchain would be quickly disappeared. But thankfully, there was Ethereum exist, and I take a look about Ethereum, and I thought this uh, this technology makes sense. But I also felt that this would be difficult to widely adopt it because
Right.
of the transaction fee for sure.
Because of the cost. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
because
remember what's the first app you used?
first app, I think it was Uniswap.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, yeah. But like honestly, like even as someone who majored in computer science, I didn't understand why I have to pay a transaction fee at first time. So there are so many free services in the world, for example, Facebook. But yeah, who'd like to pay to post on Facebook? So
Well, I mean, I think nothing is free. You're just paying it in a different way, and where you're not used to paying with money anymore. We're used to pay with our data, we're used to pay with our brain time, but we don't see this as paying something. So that's why we're like, to us, saying, "Wait, I have to pay money for this." Is very weird. That's kind of what Twitter is also trying to do these days, right? They're trying to monetize what they do in a different way by getting
yeah,
people to pay actual money.
yeah, that's very true. But like I thought that people wouldn't pay to. I mean, like people are not ready to get that true. So data is much more important. Could be much more important than money, but like many people would
Don't
not.
say it that way.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I'm really, this is also something that I'm really curious about for the upcoming years. Will somebody manage to crack that equation, providing a service that gets
Yeah.
people to pay for it
Mhm.
with money and not with brain time? And will people value data, privacy, and this kind of thing at scale?
Mhm.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so you worked. So you were in the military when you heard about Ethereum. Then you worked for a while on automation in a factory, and then your friend from high school told you, "Hey, there's this nice thing in New York. It's called the Starknet House. You should go there and learn everything about Starknet."
Exactly. Exactly. That's how it worked. Yeah.
Nice. So you went to New York.
Yeah. I mean, it was new experience for me in from like Web3 to everything because that was my first time to visit America. So I was quite. I mean, I was really nervous about that, and
Why?
Because I didn't went to the America, and I couldn't say like better in English, so good in
Hmm.
English. So that's why I was so nervous, and yeah,
Yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming to get in a place where you don't speak the
yeah,
language. Though I'll be fair. Your English is much better than my Korean.
yeah. That could be true. That could be true. But
Like,
anyways, everyone used English, so yeah, I was quite
you're right.
nervous back then. Yeah,
So how long did you spend in New York then? And who did you meet there?
I spent like almost 11 weeks in there.
Whoa, that's very long. It's not a one
Yes,
week thing.
yeah.
11 weeks. That's three
So I
months.
right. So I need to quit my job to go there.
Yeah,
And
full dive.
yeah, full dive. So I quit my job and I go there, and I met uh, many fellows in there. Uh, one of one of them is Namra Patel. He made some ERC. Uh, I can't remember the exact number of it, but he made some ERC with Vitalik.
Hmm.
And another guy is he's from Harvard. His name is Virat
Hmm.
Tarwar. Yeah, and many more other talented fellows were there, and it was really a great time to learn about Starknet and also about Web3.
So what did you do during these 11 weeks? Was it classes? Was it hacking on stuff? Was it what's a typical day in the Starknet house at that
Yeah,
time?
everything, but the session is only once a week and 1 hour. So I was quite confused because I don't know about Web3. I don't know about well in Web3, but there is like 1 hour's class per week. So I was quite confused, but that's how it works in New York. I mean, in America.
And New York is not
Yes.
the worst place to learn about Web3 too. There's a lot of talented people there, and there's a lot of things happening in the crypto scene, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So back
So
then
how
I
did
need
you go? Sorry.
no back then I need to learn about Web3 with myself. I mean, quite self-driven program. So yeah, I take a look many things about Web3 and uh, told about many things with my fellows.
So what
And
were good resources that you liked? Like what would you recommend if somebody had to go through the same route as you? I'm totally new to Web3 or some sort of new. How do they build knowledge and what resources would you drive them to?
yeah, that's a great question. But back then it was quite a StarkNet focused program, so I
Hmm.
learned about StarkNet first. And you know, as you know, like from last summer to here, so many things changed on,
Yeah.
especially in StarkNet. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
cannot
right.
recommend any documents from
No,
like
makes sense.
last summer.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you're one of those persons who probably learned how to write Cairo before learning how to write Solidity.
exactly. Yeah, I learned Cairo before the how to write a code in Solidity.
So how was it?
Uh it was not easy to be honest. I was like quite shocked when I realized that Cairo doesn't have a for loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to make it recursion and everything, and yeah, but like revoke references, that was quite new for me too. But yeah, eventually I can make some programs, and I made chess gaming on the Starknet House Hacker House, and I won the podium at the end of the Starknet House.
Nice. So you came in as a total newbie and ended up winning the podium. Super cool.
Yeah, yeah. it was quite unique like experience.
Nice. So then you went back to Korea and you started working for Door Labs.
Exactly.
Did you start working straight off the bat on this ticketing business you're working on, or is it like, is Door Labs a Web3 company building a ticketing system, or is it a ticketing system getting into Web3?
That's a really good question. Yeah, in last year we made honestly we don't have any like ticket platform on Web3 back then. We just made Web2 like front end and back end ticket system, and we just get people's Clayton address and just send the NFT to their Clayton address. We choose
What's Clayton?
Yeah, Clayton is a blockchain network, and I'm pretty sure many people didn't heard about it, but it is really good for adopt users in especially in South Korea because the company names Kakao made uh, that blockchain network, and Kakao is one of the biggest uh, SNS platform in South Korea. It makes Telegram, but it in like Korean, so it's called Kakao Talk.
Wait, I think I heard about Clayton. It's like one of those blockchain where if you're from the West, you never heard of it, but it has massive adoption in Asia.
Uh,
Or not really.
yeah,
But I
not
mean,
really.
you're saying that it's built by a very big player, so
In South Korea, yeah.
so it probably has some adoption.
Yeah. So we took that advantage. So yeah, we choose Clayton,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw the potential. Like we sold 300 NFTs less than a minute, and
Wow.
the customers were like mostly women in their 40s and 50s and 60s.
Wow. Not your typical Web3 users.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's that's why I was so excited, and that's why I want to make this ticket platform on Starknet because I really want to bring Web2 users in Web3.
Yeah, makes sense. So what do you, I mean, why build on Starknet instead of staying on Clayton?
Uh, because first is you can see from your first like reaction that you heard about Clayton. What is Clayton?
Yeah.
Nobody knows Clayton, honestly. And Clayton is not that uh, good blockchain, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
And yes, we choose the blockchain from Ethereum. I mean, we want to build on top of the Ethereum, but Ethereum has a quite clear problem, the scalability. So yeah, we want to find another answer, and we try to find layer two, and there are the two like other choices: optimistic rollups and zk rollups. And we want to believe math, not like other thing, game theory thing. So we choose zk rollup, and in zk rollup there are, I think Starknet is the best in zk rollup. That's why we choose Starknet.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. And so you started working on, so you started working on your ticketing system. I'm guessing that, you described people buying NFTs who were in their 40s, 50s, 60s. I'm guessing that account abstraction on Starknet is something that is useful to you. Maybe. Is it the case or not that much?
uh for now we're not focusing on the wallet side, so we're focusing our platform. So um yeah, we made a platform that like without wallet, but people can interact with our ticket platform. It sounds doesn't make sense, but I'll explain. So
Please
people
do.
will, yeah, people will register try to register in specific events, such as concert or musical. And then people will register via Web2 platform. So we will make front end and back end about that. So people will register, and after they registered, we Door Labs will put that data on the Starknet as a Merkle root.
And what's the purpose? Is to get an NFT from, oh, I went to that concert? So it's not something you'll be using to enter the concert itself. It's more like a souvenir.
And no, people will use this when people enter this event, but we will verifying that they are registered by the view function on the Starknet.
Interesting. How do they prove ownership? Do they have some kind of private keys? Do they prove ownership to their email? Do they have a QR code?
No, they just log in with our Web2 platform. So we will take a user data and make it like hash, and to upload, make a Merkle tree and upload the Merkle root in the Starknet. And when people come to see the concert, then we will verify their user data and the other marker proof in the view function.
Okay, cool. Do you plan on giving out NFTs eventually, where people will be able to buy their tickets as NFTs and then, I don't know, maybe exchanging, give them, sell them?
Exactly. So after a few years, users could be made their own Starknet wallet, right? So when they made their own Starknet wallet, they can claim NFTs on our platform. That's the goal of this platform. So Web2 users can use our platform, and after they became a Web3 users, meaning they have their own wallet, then they can claim their NFT tickets as a proof of attendance.
Nice. The funny thing about proof of attendance is that I think to a certain degree, it sounds a bit like, why would you prove that you went to a concert? It's kind of, why would you want to prove that to somebody else? And I think about it in a different term. Like, I remember when I started going to concert, at some point, I was maintaining a small list where I noted the name of every concert I went to, every artist I saw live. I noted them just because it's a way of not forgetting, because after a while, otherwise you just forget where you went and what cool show you saw. And that's also why some people keep the stubs. So getting a track record, having some kind of thing for you to look back and say, oh yeah, I remember that concert.
Of course. And imagine if you went to the BTS concert 5 years ago, they're not huge back then, but after few years they became a BTS, and I can prove that I'm a real fan of them before they get so famous.
Yeah, you can actually say, yeah, I went to the concert before it was cool.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and then maybe eventually, I don't know, there's a world where you can imagine having these kind of concerts being recorded, or pictures being taken, and then you have access to them if you went to the concert. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, true.
Very nice. And so you mentioned BTS. Do you guys at Door Labs often interact with artists?
We don't, but our partner company has many interact with the artists for sure, because they're one of the biggest offline entertainment companies. So
if I come to South Korea, can you get me into a concert?
For sure. Come. And I can also make a Starknet event if you came here.
A BTS Starknet event. So BTS, is it this Korean pop group that is responsible for that is the biggest exporter of goods from South Korea a few years ago?
Yeah. And
Right, they're the biggest income generator for South Korea. Like they were the biggest income generator for South Korea a year or two ago. Is that true, or am I making things up?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so maybe I'm
Yeah.
making things up, but they're very successful, and then
Yeah,
they're selling records all over the planet and making
that's
booked concerts
that's
everywhere.
true. And some members of BTS went to the military for the military service.
What do you mean? Isn't it mandatory for everyone anyway?
Yeah. Quite crazy. So
Yeah.
they're in the military right now. And
Oh, so you mean
yeah.
some of them have to be in the military right now, so they
Mhm.
had to stop
Mhm.
BTS for a while? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's wild.
It's quite crazy.
Yeah. All right. Super cool. So, looking forward now, so you guys are working on your ticketing system. I'm guessing one thing that is top of line for you is the move to Cairo One. Can you tell us a
Mhm.
little bit, how do you see Cairo One and how do you see this move? How is it going for you? Have you started on it yet?
Uh we are trying to learn from Kairouan. And I think we have many evolved from Cairo 0 to Cairo 1. I think Cairo 1 is much, much more easier to learn, much easier to learn compared with Cairo 0. But yeah, like it as you said, we have to integrate whole codes to Cairo 1 eventually. So we're working on it. And like this is not for dual labs thing, but personally I'm quite concerned about the wallet upgrades.
Okay, can you expand?
So I saw the statistics on StarkScan, but like 1.2 million assets are in the not upgraded account for now. So I heard that even doesn't count it about like in DeFi thing. I mean, not not account contract value is not like counted in that statistics. So I think it's quite it could be quite a huge problem.
Yeah, I see
I
what
see
you're
what you're
saying.
saying.
So the move from Cairo 0 to Cairo 1 implies that all the code that is currently in Cairo 0 on Starknet
Mhm.
will be deprecated. So assets that are managed by contracts in Cairo 0
Mhm.
will become quote unquote locked.
Right.
And part of these assets are Cairo 0 contracts. So the question becomes, how do we reach the people whom we have no way
Exactly.
of reaching to tell them, hey, move your assets?
Exactly.
Um, and we're actually working on a solution. We haven't broadcasted it
Mhm.
very widely, but I can explain real quick what we're going to do. So a contract on Starknet it has storage, it has a nonce, it has an address, and it has a class hash, meaning it has a reference that points to a specific piece of code that is registered by the sequencer.
Mhm.
For some of these assets that are stuck on Cairo 0 contract, or that might be stuck in the future because they still have
Mhm.
time to move, right? For
Yeah.
some of these assets, we're considering introducing a um, special code at the OS level to say, okay, so this specific class hash, actually now it refers to that specific code in Cairo 1, so that even if people use a wallet that uses the old class hash reference, it
Mhm.
will still point to Cairo 1 code and they're able to move their assets down the
Super
line.
cool. Super cool.
And I think that there's a broader question here of, the system is still centralized, it's not permissioned, but the company Starkware managing the system still has a lot of um, room for manipulating this kind of stuff, right? It's no secret. And in some circumstances, there is a clear advantage to doing so, right? When it's about saving user funds.
Mhm.
Um, But there's a big question whether we should or we should not, or whether we should let people do their thing, and if they lose money, that's on them. It's I think it's an interesting question. It's a question that becomes moot in a decentralized world, which is really good. But while we're in a centralized one, does it make sense to ask this question or not? I don't know. What would you be in favor of?
I think that makes sense. That makes sense.
All right. Okay, cool. Thank you, Giwo, for these few words about Cairo One, and for the people listening to us. At the time we're recording this, Cairo One is barely out the door. The alpha version of the documentation, meaning like the non-official release of the documentation, was last week, so it's still very new for everybody. But we can see, like, the people who are actually using it are really excited about it, which is great. Yeah. All right. I have another question for you, which is, what gets you excited about what you're doing today at Door Labs? What's the thing where you're thinking, oh, wow, this is really cool, and you're eager to explore it every time you get the chance to?
Yeah, it's like I said, we want to bring Web2 users to Web3 because the ultimate value of the technology is on use by people, right? So sorry. So we are trying to bring Web2 users to Web3. That's why we make like this ticket platform, and I'm so excited to bring, women in their 40s and 50s and 60s into blockchain. I think it's really really impossible to many other companies. So
yeah, okay. So bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3 and bringing mass adoption to Web 3 is what gets you excited.
Exactly.
Wonderful. All right. Okay, I think we've covered most of the questions I wanted to ask. Do you have something specific you wanted to mention, or did I forget anything?
Recently, we made our new event brand called StarkNet Asia.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, we forgot to talk about that. And this ended like last week. We were actually supposed to record this podcast on Monday. Today is Thursday. Yeah. And you told me, well, I'm too tired, which makes perfect sense. Like, that's my favorite question when somebody tells me, oh, I'm organizing this conference. It's starting in 2 days. And I ask, how much sleep did you get in the past week? Usually not a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for me, like, I slept like 4 hours per day before, like from a week before. So
wow. So how did it go? Can you tell us how many people showed up? What happened?
Yeah, sure. We hosted Stark Tokyo in last 13th April, and there are like more than 150 people were there, and we had like Chi and Emma and Ari and Guilty Gyoza and Danilo Kim as a speaker.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think the event went very well, and I want to say the StarkNet community is quite legit and clean. So I was really, it was my pleasure to connect with them, and yeah.
Yeah, that's something that the community, the StarkNet community, StarkNet is not easy to use. You mentioned Cairo 0 earlier. Cairo 1 is much better, but it still is a new language, right? So the barrier to entry to StarkNet is actually quite high, which is, in one hand, not a great thing because less people are able to enter, and we need to make this change for sure.
Yeah.
But while it is the case, though, it does have a very good signal to noise ratio, meaning you don't get into the StarkNet community randomly. Usually, these are very dedicated people, very smart people. Exactly. And when you get to meet them at events like that, it's really great.
Yeah, yeah.
So the people who attended the conference were from everywhere in the world? Were they from Asia?
Many people from Japan, I think, and also South Korea, because Japan and South Korea is very close. And yeah, and many other, such as like France people were there.
Nice.
Yeah, and America. Many people were there, and of course China. And we were so there are so many devs in there, so I was so happy to bring Starknet to new devs. And in 14th, we held a Starknet workshop, and there are like 30 or 40 devs are there and learn about Cairo 1 with Ori Ziv from Starkware.
Yeah, Ori being one of the main person on the compiler team. So it's really learning Cairo 1 from the creator. The creator of Cairo 1,
exactly.
which is great.
Yeah, it was amazing experience. Yeah.
Nice. So now this is finished and you're resting a little bit. What's next? When are the next events you guys are planning? Do you have something in mind maybe?
Yeah, we will host another like Starknet event in May. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, it was June. Sorry about that. June, which is ETH Seoul and Middle Asia happened. And after that, we will gonna make Stark Vietnam in ETH Middle Vietnam happen.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we'll be present. Like there will be people from my team and from Starkware. I'm not sure at both, but at least at one of them.
Would love to have you our event.
Hopefully. Cool. Well, Giwok, sorry for forgetting about this. It is indeed a big achievement, so congrats on that. Anything else I forgot?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you a lot for your time today. It was great to learn about what Dorlab is doing. Where should people go if they want to learn more about what Dorlab is doing and about Starknet Asia?
For now, you can follow our thing in Twitter for sure.
So what's the handle?
It's
actually I'm looking at it. Dorlabs in Stark Tokyo. So it's Doors and Door DOOR _ labs LABS.
Yeah, and also Starknet Asia is Starknet _ Asia _.
Nice.
Yep.
Super cool. All right, Giwok. Thank you a lot for your time today, and I hope I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.